I'm really cautious about saying one software should do all of the things that you need. And so today we're going to talk a little bit about QuickBooks Online and some features that you are not using and you should be. And again, although the software is not an end-all be-all, there are some things that I find that most nonprofits are underutilizing, and it could help streamline their accounting process better. And so let's talk about them. First up is the bank feed. I cannot tell you how many organizations are still not using it. I will log in and I see hundreds of transactions sitting for review, yet they are caught up in their reconciliations. There's transactions in there and I'm like, are you going in and manually adding those transactions every month? That is such a time suck. You need to be using the bank feed. By using the bank feed, you can connect your payment gateway, so that's Stripe, and PayPal. You can connect all of your bank accounts, whether that's your checking accounts, your saving accounts, your reserves, right? And your credit card accounts, right? And so what I find is that either clients are just not using the bank feed at all, or they're half using it. And what I mean by that is you're connecting some accounts, but not others. And one of the things that we've been seeing actually more common recently is credit card accounts not being connected, but bank accounts being connected. And the reason we know that the client has a credit card is because we'll be reconciling, let's just say the bank account for an example, and we'll see a payment to Discover, a payment to American Express. Now, from the client standpoint, it's, oh, we're capturing that, but no, we are not capturing the full picture. And in essence, your financials are not really telling the full story. So if I'm seeing that you paid American Express, $2,500 for your last bill, what was that for? What was that $2,500 spent on? That's what we're missing, right? Because American Express is not connected. And so one of the things that we require and that we urge all clients to be doing is connecting every single bank and credit card account and connecting your payment gateways so that we have a very clear picture on all funds moving through the organization. It is not just the bank accounts that are important. If money is moving anywhere else, we need to be aware of that, and it needs to be connected so that it can all be flowing through QuickBooks. The second feature that most nonprofits are underutilizing is the QuickBooks receipt capture feature. So if you go into your QuickBooks Online account, you log in, you'll see that you have this feature. And what it essentially is that you are able to either upload, drag and drop, or email receipts directly to your QuickBooks account. The reason why I really love this feature is because it helps us to get and keep clients audit ready all within the system. So if there are certain expenses that we are accounting for, we can attach the receipt, right? If there are certain income items we are accounting for, we can attach the deposit slip. If it's linked to an agreement, right, or something like that, we can attach that to the transaction. But what this does is that when your audit kicks off and your auditor is selecting samples, we don't have to run into different places to then download that support. So when they select, let's just say, for example, these 5 transactions over here that they are going to be reviewing and looking into, we can literally go directly into QuickBooks and provide them with the supporting documentation for those specific expenses. Also, it helps to eliminate using too many different softwares and tools. And so we'll have some clients who is saving receipts and supporting documentation in Dropbox. Some are saving it in Google Drive, right? And so doing nothing in QuickBooks. And so when it comes time for the audit to kick off, we're having to go to different places to actually download the information. And then also when it comes to review, not only do we have to look at QuickBooks, but then we also have to look in these different external areas for the supporting documentation. It just helps to move things along quicker. It helps to streamline the accounting process because essentially we want you to spend your time where it is needed, not on doing these many things that could be fixed or done by something that's automated or streamlined. The third feature that we find is underutilized is classes, using classes. So here's the thing. Someone commented on a previous video of mine where I talked about the chart of accounts, and they said that they were lost after I didn't mention that we should be tracking functional expenses in the chart of accounts. We leave functional expenses to classes, and this is why. your chart of accounts can be kept to natural categories and simple so that when you run your financial statements, you're able to run it at that high level. But then also you can drill down at your leisure, at the level of detail you want or don't want. When you dump everything in the chart of accounts, you have very little options as to how to simplify that. And if you end up having to simplify it, most times you have to export it, then manipulate it. We don't want you to have to do that. When the transactions flow through QuickBooks, right, because you should be using a bank feed, we classify every transaction. Is it a fundraising expense? Is it a programmatic expense? Is it an admin expense? The reason why this is important, so when you want to, you can run a P&L by class, which will show you the breakdown of these three functional expenses. Also, when you report on your 990, you have to indicate what falls in those functional expenses. Instead of trying to do all this math at the end of the year, if you have been classifying all your expenses throughout the year as part of your month-end close, you literally have to run your P&L by class, export it, and then provide it to your tax accountant, and they can see where all the functional expenses lie. Now, these aren't some magical features or anything like that, but it does help to streamline the accounting process. It also helps to give you back some of your time, right? Too often I think you get caught up in spending time on all of the little mini things and manual things when you could be, that time can best be spent doing other things that add more value to the organization and add more value, one, to the fiscal function. One of the things that we work here on Visionary Accounting Group and doing is like constantly, how can we improve the accounting process, right? How can we minimize the amount of manual work? How can we minimize the amount of manual workarounds? And so if you implement using these three features, I promise you it will save you time when it comes to your month-end close, but also your year-end reporting. It also upgrades your monthly reporting, right? Because not only are you just running a statement of activities and looking at this high level, now you can drill down, right? You ran a fundraiser. How profitable was it? You won't know if you haven't been tracking what came in specifically for that fundraiser and what you spent specifically to put that fundraiser on, right? It allows you to really dig into the details and see what's costing you, right? How will you know how profitable or not a certain program is if you're not tracking the expenses and the cost to manage these things, right? And so if you are also a nonprofit that is managing government funds, typically you have to invoice for these. How are you tracking what you are spending on these individual contracts? Utilize the features that come with the software. It's there for a reason. Now, if you have any questions about these features or any other feature that you'd like me to dive deeper into, please leave a comment in this video and we'll schedule that to come out for another time. Other than that, I hope this was really, really helpful. Like, subscribe, do all of the things, and I'll see you guys in the next video.